In this video, I'm going to show you how to become a more complete hitter in 90 days. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of how mechanics work, approach into a game against a pitcher. Just so I'm not wasting anybody's time, this is for the serious player, the person who has work ethic, the person who has determination to learn about mechanics, mental game approach. If that is not you, you can click off this video and try some of my other content, which is free, and you can learn some stuff and try to get better. But if you're the serious player and you really want to dive into your game, then stay here to learn more. My program really dives into the mental game, which really makes it different than most. We all get so swing centric, and we're also worried about how the move is, and the move is super important. Now, you might be skeptical. You're thinking, all right, man, you're just some guy on the internet I found, and yeah, you did, but I guess I'm a little bit different than for almost 30 years of my life in professional baseball. I've worked with players, superstars, college players, high school players. So we're going to dive into some of that today. We're going to give you some swing mechanics to chew on. We're going to talk about mental game, and as well we're going to examine approach. And I'm going to just do a breakdown for you of Mookie Betts at a cage session that we had in Fenway Park, and just watch how he makes his move to the ball. I'll break it down and we'll go frame by frame
into Mookie's move here and show you some mechanical things that I think may be beneficial for you to get a better understanding of how the body is supposed to move. And it all starts from the gather, the load, whatever you want to call it, and is hinge this hip back. It's a ball and socket joint. We want it to get rolling back so that it can then turn forward and roll underneath us and give us a power source. So the load, if you watch Mookie, watch that hip hinge back. Really, the power source is in that right back glute of his and his back hip. So what Mookie does, instead of loading into his quad, he's loading into the back hip. He's activating that back hip, and then he's landing athletic and 50-50. Notice that he has space in here, trying to create, and ultimately what we're trying to create is a connection to the ground. And so that connection has to happen in that first move, that first gather into the hip. And then there's some rhythm and timing where the hands sync up there. There's a little bit of a scap load, and then there's that. I really want you to focus on how that back hip works. So there's the land 50-50 after that clean load, and there's the turn behind the ball. Old Ernie Rosso used to say, you want to block and drive. 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas. We're trying to move the baseball, impact the baseball. We can all teach you how to hit it, but learning to move through it is super important. So we're trying to get that Ferris wheel or tight turn. I like to call it these days a hurricane effect, a Category 5 hurricane. Everybody wants to argue about this move and what it is and how it works, but ultimately you're getting into a really good, strong athletic position in your lower half. And then you're trying to make that tight turn, keep that elbow running right in front of your belly button, and then compress the baseball through the baseball, finishing out front, swinging forward. 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas. That money gap created. Look at the head position, how he turned, created that hurricane effect underneath his body and not around his body. And then we have big damage. Now, again, we're not always going to hit the ball perfectly, but you notice he's not chasing the ball around. He's just moving the same way. So if you look at some other swings from this session earlier on, it's just repeatable moves. There, he's trying to stick the landing. You see what his approach is in his work. He's not trying to launch fly balls in the air. He's keeping his posture above the baseball. We keep our direction to the middle of the field. You notice he's not yanking balls. He's not trying to push the ball. He's just trying to take all his energy from that back hip and drive it as best he can against this firm front side through the baseball so he can do damage. Because block and drive in effect, connected, tight turn. I mean, this is how it's supposed to look. Now, he is a super twitchy, athletic human and one of the best athletes in the game, and he's worked very hard to make this move, but this is something that can be practiced. It's something that you can get better at. It's something you can work at. There are drills that can help you learn these movements. You create good routines, you create good habits. You really and truly have to learn how to move through the baseball. And that's really how you impact the ball, how to one day get a college scholarship or get to professional baseball, is to show recruiters that you can move the baseball, that you can impact the baseball. This is creating impact. This isn't counterpunching. This is driving force through the baseball. And that's what people are looking for. Hope you enjoyed the mechanics of Mookie Betts' swing.
We'll talk about the mental game. I developed a mental skills program called CORE. So mental game is like how you organize your practice. What are you chasing? And then how do you handle adversity? What do you have a mental reset? Are you able to reset your mind, reset your focus when you get back into the cage so that you can start working on the approach, which we're going to speak about next? Are you able to make that transition? And that's really the difference maker. It's, we learn the movements, but then we got to be able to take that mental game, that mindset, and say, I'm getting in here and I'm not scared. I'm going to engage in this battle against the pitcher, and I'm going to get my body moving aggressively. So if he throws it where I'm swinging, this ball's crushed. And that's a different mentality than, oh, I just got to see the ball and react to it. Let me see it first. Like, it's too late, guys and ladies. It's too late. The anticipation piece is a huge part of it. I have real life examples of it as a player, battling self-doubt, trying to be a power hitter when I wasn't one. I've seen it with my own son, just him grinding through college baseball so far, and the recruiting process in high school and the mental game that goes into that. And then obviously as a coordinator in the minor leagues for a long time and overseeing a program, I saw it every day with young people, trying to grind through and learn the swing and putting pressure on themselves. So the mental game is super important. Train your brain to be able to make moves in the game and to overcome fear and to get an attitude of aggressiveness and attack. And those things are super important, more important sometimes than the physical game, because if my mental game's off and I'm timid and I'm battling self-doubt, I'm not able to free my body up to make those moves that we're going to teach you how to make. You need the body to be able to work effortlessly and aggressively without being locked up in your brain. The last part of the program is approach. And again, you're kind of picking up what I'm putting down as far as freeing the mind up to be able to really move aggressively. So then we get in the game and we have to be looking for something. So watching the game, you can see what the pitcher is throwing. In college baseball, professional baseball, we have data that we can form an approach based upon what this pitcher has done in the past. What is his spin rate? Where does he like to throw the ball? Where does he give up hits? Where does he give up damage? So we're going into a game hunting a pitch. And that is exactly how you need to do it at your level, at high school, 13U, 14U, whatever it is, any level. Start practicing a plan. I'm looking for this pitch in this zone, and I'm going to hit this ball hard when they throw it there. And so we match that approach to the movements that we've created and the mental game, the mental freed up, if you will, into attack mode, and we take that into a baseball game, and that's how we practice getting better. If you see a guy that's just throwing sliders, and the fastballs he throws are erratic and they're out of the zone, and he steals strikes with sliders, you know what? Slow your body down and sit on the slider. That's an approach. Now, you got to know what you're doing in order to do that. You can't just go, I'm looking slider, and then you jump at it and try to hit it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about taking a mental approach into a game and executing. But we can go in a game and hunt a fastball. We can go in a game and sit on a fastball and say, I'm looking to right center, and everything that you're doing look that way. That's an approach. An approach is runner at second, nobody out, I have to move him over, and you see the guy fighting to move the guy over. That's an approach. You see a guy with 2 strikes, he chokes up and he's getting in there and grinding out the at bat, and he's found out he has an approach, he has a plan. Okay, so there's a lot more to this than just learning a swing. To really take your game to the next level, it's mental game. It's mechanics, super important. You have to learn how to be an efficient mover and really use the ground to stay connected. and get backspin on the ball. But most importantly, you got to have a plan and approach in the box. So in working with players of all ages and all levels, I've seen these systems work. I've seen results happen. I've seen players improve and take steps forward. So at this point, you have two options. You can keep looking on the internet, looking for ways to get better, try to find a hitting coach, a local guy, give you lessons. There's lots of great information, great people out there that can coach. Or you can work with me. You can take almost 30 years of professional knowledge and experiences and highs and lows and failures and learning, lots of teaching, lots of player development, lots of one-on-one time. Again, you can upload videos of your swing. We can take looks at those, talk about them, exchange notes on the app that we're. What if this could change your life? What if working with me might be the key that unlocks a hitter that goes from really good high school player to now college scholarship, maybe college scholarship, play in college, going to be a really good player. Maybe now this takes you to a level where you get a chance to play professionally, get drafted. Who knows? One of you could make it to the big leagues one day based upon what you learn in my program. What I'm going to teach you is exactly what they learn in professional baseball. If you have some ability and you have a work ethic and you feel like you can take your game to the next level and you really want to learn, please send me a DM, send me a message, and we can get going right away. We can start working on mechanical movements. Baseball season's around the corner. Everybody's starting to train and get ready. And we can start working on your mental game. We can give you some tools and techniques that'll keep you more focused and centered and in the moment. And then we can start developing a plan and approach so when the games come, you're able to execute and start doing some damage.